Have you died already and you just don't remember it? How would you truly know if you died and your consciousness transferred to another reality that was almost exactly like that one? How would you know? If you're one of them real closed-minded people who only believes what you've been told since you was a kid, you probably scroll by now. And that's okay because everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Me personally, I have multiple reasons, like 3 or 4 reasons why I believe this is true. I've been looking into it. I believe I've already died in hop realities, leaving my body behind in other realities. Before you say it, I already know you think I'm crazy. I've been being told that since I was about 15 when these thoughts started. And I do take psych meds. I've been diagnosed with things. But I live a day-to-day life. I know how to, comprehend things. My mind works fine. There's things that don't make sense, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Haven't you ever wondered what deja vu is? What the Mandela effect is? Haven't you ever felt like you did something and you can't explain why? Am I the only one who believes in reincarnation, thinking that we live different lives? Our body is just a shell. The essence of who we are is our spirit. That's our consciousness. I believe our consciousness is eternal, as in the energy will never die, but it gets transferred and recycled through until you are ready to ascend to above or below, which would tie in religion with heaven and hell. I'm not going to go into all that. There's a theory called quantum immortality. Astrophysicists Elon Musk and Neil deGrasse Tyson both stand by this. There's millions of people in the world who believe in this. They have their own stories online. Ever since I heard about it, it was like it clicked right there, and I understood some of the things that I went through. I should also let it be known how I astral project at least 3-4 times a week from my body while I'm sleeping. It's like my consciousness is fully aware that I'm laying in the bed, but I come out of my body. And that whole thing they say about the silver cord connecting you to your body, that's all true. Sometimes when this happens, I actually get so excited that I'm experiencing it that it will cause me to wake up and go right back in. Imagine falling asleep like it's a regular night, but within moments you realize that it's about to happen again. You start feeling a vibration, you feel yourself come out of your body, and now you are somewhere else in your mind, consciousness, but you know this is real and it's not just in your head. A lot of people go to sleep and they just see darkness and wake up. They don't even remember their dreams. I remember my dreams, like even halfway through the day. Some people say within an hour, within 20 minutes, they can't remember. Not me. I actually remember dreams from when I was a kid. The same dreams. They've stuck with me all these years. On top of that, just my regular memory is wild. I got my first memory is from 4 years old, and it was like the moment that I came into my consciousness. I'm gonna have to go into that in a separate story. But from that moment, I realized that I was aware, and my memories have stuck with me the entire. So some of these astrophysicists believe that there is many worlds, that we are only able to experience one at a time, but your consciousness cannot perceive death, meaning if you died, your body would stay there like a shell. Your family would go see you in your casket. They would mourn you because they are still living and breathing in that physical reality. They're still having a physical experience in that reality because they're only able to perceive that consciousness that's in that body. But whether you went to an alternate reality of a body exactly like yours, a duplicate, or even another body getting thrown in as a baby, let's say, how do we know that the moment a baby takes its first breath, or no, scratch that, let's say from the moment a baby becomes a baby inside of a woman, from the moment that tadpole makes it into her egg, how do we know that that spark of life right there isn't somebody else's consciousness from another reality, but it's now going to be in this reality, but it has to take the proper steps to be in this reality by becoming a human being? I guess you could look at that as a doorway. I don't want to go too far into the religion thing, but I've always looked at that as how Jesus came into this world. Like, how do we know the Spirit of God didn't use that method I just said to come into our world through the doorway? Because heaven's in another realm, right? Another reality. How do we know that in order for him to come into our world to experience what man goes through, which is what the Bible says, that, that wasn't the process? Like, well, if I want to go be a man, I got to take this process to go through the doorway to have a physical experience. which ties me into the next part. People call it saying that we're living in like a artificial simulation matrix type deal. I don't know if that's true, but they do say it's a chance people perceive things differently. How do we know that what I see is exactly what you see? We could say it and make it seem like it matches up, but we truly know that we all see the exact same things and perceive things for what they really are? I'm not too into this part. I'm not able to go into detail, but I do know they figured out that like the molecules and the atoms and things make up things around us. And if that was to collapse, our whole the way we perceive things would collapse. Just thinking about everything around us being a hologram is creepy. Hey, there's a lot of people who believe that we died in 2012 when the Mayans predicted we would. And there's also a lot of people who can't understand why the trends reset and it seems like certain decades repeat themselves or since have things have not changed since the 2000s. We took that leap of technology. Other than that, you'd have to go watch a video on that to see what I'm talking about. So if you're still here with me, maybe you got a little bit of curiosity on this, or maybe you're just trolling and wanting to see how crazy I sound. I really don't care, but I myself believe that I've died multiple times. I have an actual memory of unaliving myself, and when I woke up, nothing's been the same ever since that day. I woke up at 4 a.m. on the couch. I talked to my woman and my kids about things from the night prior. Nothing matched up. Ever since then, I ain't buying that what we're experiencing every day is what it's supposed to be. There's no way. That's not counting the time I got electrocuted and woke up thinking that things felt weird. That's not counting the 2 times that I OD'd. That's 3. And that's not counting the car wreck I got in. That's 4. When I said I unalive, that's 5 myself. And then the 6th one would be when I was driving down the road and I went to go through an intersection. And at the last second, something told me, like literally, I was zoned out. I was leaving a party. I was driving on the road. It's 3 in the morning. There's no cars on the road. Like I did not see a car for a long while. As I'm coming up down Atlantic Street towards Warren G. Harding High School, there used to be a red flashing light in 2008, and I had just got my license, and for some reason it didn't hit me that it's not a yellow flashing light, it's red. I only had my license for like 3 months. Well, at the very last moment, I had this feeling come over me, and it was like I snapped out of that zone and I hit the brakes. And from that moment I did that, a semi came through doing like maybe 30, 40, because it's not a highway. It was coming from back where them factories are back there. And it literally was on the perfect trajectory so that I didn't hear it, I didn't see headlights, none of that. It was a feeling. The moment I did that, and boom, I slammed on the brakes. Here comes a semi, and it was on the most perfect trajectory that you could ever imagine. It was going to hit me. It made me feel like I'm living in a timeline that I survived, but there's another timeline where I kept going, and that semi smacked me. I would have to say that's probably the first weird experience like this that I ever had. I know you're gonna think I sound crazy, but I literally remember doing something to myself, and it would have only took a millisecond to make that horrible, bad, stupid decision. But ever since that moment, I had no more memories that night. I was drinking, I was crying, I was in a bad mood. I called Monique, I told her how I was feeling, all depressed and everything. And she said, I'm going to leave work, I'm going to come home and see you. We hung up the phone. I sat down, I had some bad thoughts. I remember doing what I did, and then boom, I woke up on the couch at 4 a.m. I tried to talk to her and tell her how I felt about everything I just said. She said none of it happened. I must have dreamed it. She came home. I was sleeping on the couch. Everything was fine. That's not true. I know for a fact what I remember. So that tells me, what if we die multiple times in our life and we just don't realize it? We're just jumping from reality to reality to reality the whole time, leaving a body behind for our families to mourn. But this version that we know of other people is not the same version. They look like them, they act like them, but something's off just a little bit. And I know I'm not the only one that feels like this. I can't be. Whether you believe it or not, let me know in the comments your thoughts on all of this shit. Stay safe, stay free, stay blessed.